Okay, hello. We are live. This thing is on. The microphone is here. It is on. Welcome to TryHard's COOLDOWN, the last episode of 2022, our last stream of the year. And I am here with Alex today. Alex, say hello to the peoples.
What's up, chat? How's it going?
What's up? What's up? Alex is here. Veronika may or may not be joining us. We will be figuring it out as the stream goes on. But we are here today to kind of just talk about the whole year, recap a lot of the best games, talking about our favorites, talking about what we didn't like, and also talking about what to look forward to in 2023. There's a lot of things to talk about with gaming this last year. It's been crazy, chaotic. It's been up and down. So many different news came out about games. So much stuff has happened. Acquisitions have really taken over the year when it comes to a lot of the big market deals and stuff like that. So it's been a crazy, wild 2023 in that realm. Before we get into talking about 2023, though, there is a PlayStation studio, as Celise says hello. It says hello to Alex specifically, and that's crazy because you ain't say hi to me.
How's it going? How's it going?
Whoa, that is wild. My man said,
Uh-oh.
Howie. Nah, we ain't talking. We're not saying hello to that man at all. So, you know what? Fair, I get it. Celise, how are you doing? Welcome in. How's your Friday going?
Yes,
We also
welcome.
want to know what games you've been happy about this year too. So definitely feel free to throw your favorite games of the year in the chat as well. But like I said, before we get into talking about 2022, there's one studio, and you'll be seeing trailers come up on screen right now, that we have to talk about, and that is Naughty Dog. Because as of yesterday, there have been some rumors, some speculation about what's coming next from Naughty Dog. And there was a new report from Viewer Anon, who typically talks about music news, that they just dropped that Naughty Dog is working on a third installment in the Last of Us series. That A Last of Us 3 will be coming at
Let's
some point,
go.
which was kind of left field because I think that there was a lot of mixed reception to The Last of Us 2, so I didn't know if they were going to do that next or if they were going to do something else or bring back Uncharted. But we kind of got a little bit of clarity about what Naughty Dog is going to be up to. Alex, I'm going to throw this question to you. What are your thoughts about a third part in The Last of Us series?
I'm to be honest, I'm really excited about it. I haven't like read too much about it in terms like the nitty-gritty details for the third one. I definitely need to do my homework on that, but I'm just super excited because I love the series so far. Love the first game. Even though, like you said, there was mixed reviews on the second one, I really enjoyed that second game a ton. I don't know. I just had like no major red flags that stood out to me. But yeah, everything from the gameplay to the plot was just so emotionally loaded that I was drawn into the storyline. Again, the mechanics of the game were so fluid and beautiful. Just a totally beautiful game overall, and yeah, bring on a third. I'm ready.
He said, bring on the third, we're ready to go. It's crazy to think that it was right before COVID started, taking over the United States, when leaks were coming about The Last of Us 2, that the Naughty Dog, I think somebody either hacked his computer or he went rogue. I can't remember what the whole scenario was, but the Naughty Dog Q&A tester having leaked information about Part 2, showing the gameplay, getting into the plot details, and I remember the internet just went bananas because no one really, at the time, I think a lot of people didn't really enjoy the story that was leaked about the game. So that was very controversial, and then the game came out, and even then that was still kind of a mixed bag. I think that most people can agree that the gameplay of the game was amazing, but it came down to the story where people were a little opinionated about. So it was very much an interesting time, and I really liked Last of Us Part 2. I know I was reading the story spoilers beforehand, and I was like, I don't know about this story, but playing the game itself, and I really enjoyed how they made The Last of Us Part 2, and You know, they're now working on the Factions multiplayer standalone game. That's supposed to be coming first, according to Viewer Anon. So that's supposed to be coming in sometime in 2023, if I'm not mistaken. So it will be a standalone multiplayer for The Last of Us 2 called Factions. It'll be free to play. Coming to PS5. I don't think it's coming to PS4, so that'll be a PS5 exclusive. And then also Naughty Dog's reportedly working on a new IP. We don't know what that's going to be about. It could be like a space IP. It could be literally anything at all. So there's been a lot of rumor speculation about that. But The Last of Us Part 3 could be the next installment for Neil Druckmann, who is also working on The Last of Us TV show, which is coming out in just a couple of weeks. So, safe to say that Naughty Dog might be the busiest studio at PlayStation right now. They have 3 different games they're working on. There are also rumors about Uncharted coming back, and according to Viewer Anon, that Uncharted is actually going to be rebooted, but not at Naughty Dog. It's going to be at a different studio, but Naughty Dog will be assisting the new studio with a new Uncharted game, and there's no details if that's going to be continuing from Uncharted 4, or if it's going to be a spin-off, or it's going to be a reboot. So there's been a lot of talk about that too. So if you're a fan of Naughty Dog, there is a lot of stuff to look forward to over the next couple of years. Alex, what are your thoughts about everything that's going on at the studio right now?
So again, I have not played Uncharted myself, so I can't really speak a ton to it, but I do see, like, you know, how busy they are right now, and like you said, that's just gonna, for all the fans and people following that stuff, it's just, you're gonna want to keep your you know, finger on the pulse there, because there's just so much happening, and yeah, it's gonna be a busy year for sure.
Busy year. And also, really quick, we also want to give a shout out to everybody that's coming in for the chat today. Much appreciated. Thank you guys for tuning in. But Naughty Dog, yeah, they seem like they have so much stuff going on. And, you know, with The Last of Us Part 2, I really enjoyed the game for what it was. I think that I got tired of playing as Abby, because it was one of those things where, you know, again, the game's been out for 2 years, so if you haven't played the game, you don't know the story, that's on you. But, you know, with the big plot twist in the early part of the game, with, you know, Abby killing Joel, and that was kind of a really big part of the story, and a lot of people, that's what turned them off playing the game. I got tired of playing her, like, towards the end of the game, but I think the story wrapped up really well. Even though I didn't love the ending, I think it wrapped it up in a good way that, like, they didn't have to do a part 3.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's a lot of just question marks with that. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But Naughty Dog definitely has a lot of stuff up their sleeve. Like I said, with Factions coming out, Part 3, Uncharted reboot that they're going to be helping with, and a new IP. So probably the next 4 to 5 years, you're going to be seeing a lot of Naughty Dog going forward. So moving on from talking about Naughty Dog in The Last of Us and getting more deeper into those games, there's a lot to talk about with 2022. There has been a plethora of news, a plethora of game releases, and just so many things to talk about. I kind of want to talk about some of the biggest headlines over the last year of video games. Probably the biggest one that's still ongoing to this day has to be about Microsoft acquiring Activision Blizzard King, which happened in January, February of this year, and this is still an ongoing scenario. So let's recap the timeline for everybody. Activision got acquired by Xbox, Microsoft, earlier this year. They have said multiple times that they want to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation. However, that kept going back and forth. Were they going to keep it for just the next Modern Warfare game? Was it going to be for the next 3 games? And since then, they have said that they are going to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation for at least the next 10 years. That's their plan. They sent agreements to Sony. Sony was like, fuck off, we're not doing that. Like, we're not going to agree to all that. And it's been going back and forth with the FTC and the EU regulators, and they also recently said that they're going to plan to put the game on Nintendo, but that doesn't mean it's going to be on the Switch, so that could be a very big loophole. They want to put it on Steam for 10 years. It's just, it's a mess. Like, the whole thing is very messy. They're trying to go through every loophole so they don't get, Siri tried to pick that up, but they're trying to go through every single loophole so they don't have to fully commit to keeping Call of Duty on PlayStation forever, but so that they will make the regulators happy. Alex, I don't know if you have any horse in this race or any opinions about the PlayStation, or sorry, the Activision acquisition, but what are your thoughts on this whole Call of Duty Xbox scenario they got going on here?
I totally agree. I think it's a mess. Like, they have a lot to figure out in terms of like what's kosher per se, or like allowed, to be decided on, and everyone's kind of positioning their pawns where they think they should be, but it's got like there's a lot of untangling and all that, like you were mentioning. I think personally, as a PlayStation fan and someone who hasn't played COD a lot or any of those titles, like I've dabbled here and there, yeah, it's definitely gonna make a big impact, or like I think it's gonna shift a tide in certain ways depending on how it gets like monopolized, rather.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
So we'll see where that heads.
Microsoft also has the right to keep all these games on Xbox and PC only too. If this does go through, this is still not confirmed if it's going through yet, because to add on to that, the FTC recently filed a lawsuit to stop the acquisition from happening. But then the EU regulators said that, you're kind of wrong about some of the stuff you've been saying in your lawsuit, because FTC claimed that the EU, that they lied to the EU about keeping some of the games exclusive with Bethesda, so they lied about that, and then that's been a whole thing, and EU's like, no, that's not the case, they never said that they were, or whatever. So it's been a whole mess, and this doesn't seem like it's going to get finalized anytime soon with the new FTC lawsuit. So this will be in court probably for the next couple of years. So what it's looking like is that it will go through in the summertime, but it won't be officially done until the court cases are all finished and sought through. Jared, what's going on, man? How you doing? I say let it through. So you say to let the deal go through. Well, I wonder why. I want to hear your thoughts about that.
Yeah.
I guess
Howie,
I'm
do
at
you
the
feel
point,
a certain way, or one way or the other, or do you have predictions on how it will settle?
Yeah, for me, my opinion is I don't think any acquisitions are good for the industry right now. We'll get into too talking about Sony and Bungie, but I don't think acquisitions are good for the industry as a whole, let alone acquiring a whole publisher as big as Activision Blizzard King.
Right.
It's not good for the industry. However, though, on the contrary, they are doing this because they're afraid of Tencent and Embracer Group and Google and Amazon acquiring a lot of these companies.
Big.
So
yeah.
If there has to be acquisitions in the space, I am glad it is Microsoft, Sony, or Nintendo, because these guys are native to the gaming industry. And Tencent also is too, but Tencent's acquiring everybody. If they start owning a lot of these companies, it could really shift the way video games are made and how they're distributed. So it could be a really big change in the market. But my opinion is I don't think these are good for the industry. I think if you're buying just standalone studios, it's fine, but again, not good, because you know a lot of these independent studios want to stay that way. But if you sell out to Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo, like, I don't blame you, because you're gonna make your money. But I don't know.
Yes.
Just as a whole, not a good thing for the industry. But if it has to be somebody to acquire Activision Blizzard King, I think Microsoft might be one of the best companies to do it. So we'll see. It could benefit a lot of gamers in the long run, especially like Jared said, Call of Duty being on Game Pass could be a really big deal. It could be a really big game changer to have that be a day one game for Game Pass. And also, to throw that in there, Microsoft is allowing Sony apparently to have Call of Duty on their PS Plus subscription service as well. So it's kind of like Sony doesn't really have a lot of leg to stand on now. So they're kind of they're still swinging in the fight, but they're losing. They're on the ropes.
They're teetering.
Yeah, they're on the ropes and they're losing this one. But that's kind of my opinion on it. I think that it will still go through. I don't see a point where they're gonna stop it. I don't think the courts really care about video game acquisition deals. I think that if they really cared about acquisitions, they would have really made an effort to stop Disney buying Fox, but they didn't. So I don't think they're going to care about
the
video
message is loud
games.
and clear.
Right, exactly. So I don't think they're going to care about that. So I don't think that's going to be a big deal. It just will take a little bit longer for everything to go through. Jared says, I also think the state of Activision, in terms of all the controversy that has happened over there, those employees need a better home, which is very, very true.
That's a good point.
Which is true, but let me also reiterate this with Microsoft. Microsoft has, shown to be a better company, but they also struggled to release games. Let's be real. They have not released an Xbox exclusive. I think maybe one exclusive or two exclusives all year this year. There were not any big AAA games.
Oh.
So Microsoft doesn't release their games, and it showed at the Game Awards this year, and that's why so many people were pissed off, because they didn't release any trailer for any game.
They weren't there, yeah.
So yeah, they have a big mismanagement of their studios. That's not anything as like a Sony fanboyism. That's just how it is. So Xbox needs to do better with that. So we'll have to see if they can make that work. And as Jared said, the mismanagement has been a big thing at Xbox. So we'll see if they can transition and make that better with Activision. But we're hoping for 2023 they're going to have some more games and they can get all of that figured out. Because Fable got announced in 2020 or 2019 or something, and that's still nothing has been said about that. Avowed got announced in 2020, nothing about that. Hellblade, there's nothing about Hellblade, and that got announced in 2020 or 2019. So I don't know what's going on with that either. Very big issues with Microsoft for handling their studios. But talking about acquisitions, another big one this year was Sony acquiring Bungie. Bungie are the developers of Destiny 2, one of the biggest live service games in the market right now. So that was a really big acquisition that happened also at the end of January as well. Alex, I don't know if you've played any of Destiny, but have you played any of the Halo games or any other Bungie titles in the past?
Yes, I can speak to Halo. However, that was a very long time ago. It might have been on like one of the first Xboxes. So
yeah.
It's been a bit for me. That's my familiarity with that side of things.
With Bungie and how they make things. Destiny is a game that has been a big part of my gaming journey over the last, weird to say, 10 years. But it's been something that has been a lot of controversy with people as well, because Bungie, begged to leave Activision whenever they were part of Destiny, and then they go independent for like a year or two, and then they get acquired again. And it's weird because they were with Microsoft and they were begging to get out of Microsoft. They go with Activision, and now they're with Sony. The good part is about Bungie's acquisition is that they will not be a part of PlayStation Studios, meaning that their games will stay multi-platform. They have no plans to make any games exclusive. They will continue to be on all platforms going forward, and even added Destiny to the Epic Game Store over the last couple of months. So that's one of the differences between the Bethesda acquisition with Xbox to Bungie. Is Sony doesn't normally do this. They're very tight about keeping their games exclusive to the platform. They don't like to expand more than the PlayStation ecosystem. However, over the last couple of years, they've changed, especially with them releasing games on PC and allowing MLB The Show to be a multi-platform, and now Bungie be multi-platform as well. So that's been a big change for Sony, and seeing how they do with Bungie will be very interesting as that goes on over the next couple of years. Another game that has taken over this year, though, has been Elden Ring, which won Game of the Year at the Game Awards this year. Alex, I think we talked a little bit about Elden Ring, but what were your thoughts on that game and its success this year?
And I know this is kind of a divisive thing, because some people feel like it really didn't deserve the award. I think it, just from the limited things I know about the game and just the splash that it made earlier than say God of War did, I think just from a timing perspective, it had more chance to really gain momentum as the year went on. It captured so many hearts and had people addicted to just that Souls-like frustration and trying to beat it. So I just couldn't stop hearing about it. It's just I think it deserves at least some recognition for the year. It made a big splash.
You haven't played too much of it, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, I've only
Okay.
seen like gameplay, and yeah, I haven't really touched it myself. So, but I trust people when they say that it was frustrating as hell.
Yeah, it definitely was. Celine says so much information. Yeah, trust me, this is all not even from the script. This is all what I remembered in my brain when I was talking about all of the Sony Microsoft stuff. So that was in my brain because it's been going on throughout the year. But getting back on track to Elden Ring. Yeah, Elden Ring was a game for me because I have played some From Software games before. I played Sekiro. I played Dark Souls 3, but let me tell you, I played Dark Souls 3 for a total of 15 minutes and I quit. I was like, nope, this is not it for me. And then Sekiro, I played it for I think about 6 or 7 hours, but I didn't even get past the first boss. Like, it was so difficult, I couldn't beat it. And Elden
So it's
Ring,
equally unforgiving.
Sekiro is worse. I think any game before Elden Ring, like any of those, are so much more unforgiving. Like Elden Ring, you get little luck outs. You have some ways to not have as much punishment. I wouldn't say it's easier game per se, but you don't get punished as bad as you would in the other games. You still have some, but it's not as bad as it used to be. So that's one of the big perks about Elden Ring. It's a lot more accessible for people who don't play Souls games. But I think that the way that they made this game to be an open world Dark Souls, but you can do so much with your character and really create your own story inside of the game, is what made it the game of the year. And it's been a huge success. Up until Modern Warfare 2's release this year, Elden Ring was the best-selling game of the year. I think it had reached 15 million sales, if I'm not mistaken. So it definitely took over for being a household name. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that Elden Ring sold half of Dark Souls' entire franchise in just this year alone, which is incredible for such a niche genre of gaming. So that was something that was unexpected. It's something that we weren't really preparing for. But Elden Ring had a lot of success going on this year. So that's a big shout out to that game. If you guys have not played that game, definitely get on and play it as soon as you possibly can. Also, a quick announcement. Veronika is here at some point. She will be hopping in, so she will be joining us very shortly. So just a little announcement. We will have our third guest coming in just a moment. But while we do that, Alex, I'm going to throw this one to you about Grand Theft Auto. Are you a GTA fan at all?
I am. I love GTA. My first one, I think, was one of the 3 titles. Yeah, GTA 3, San Andreas. Yep, all those older ones I love so much. And the current one, 5, I've been just playing like religiously every once in a while. So I still hop on that constantly.
Yeah, so GTA 5 is like a game that, again, that's like stayed with me for the last 10 years. I think one of the few games that I have bought 10 or 3 times. So I never thought I would buy GTA as many times as I did. I bought it on PS4, 360, and on PC. So I never thought I was gonna buy that game so many times, but it is a game that continued to add new content. It was a game that you was get on and like, you know what, I'm just gonna go on a rampage if I want to, and it's just fun. It's just fun to do that. And one of the big things, the sandbox style, and then also Veronika has joined in. Look who it is. We have found her. She is here. Welcome in, Veronika.
Hello, thank you.
Veronika, do you want to tell the people what happened? Where have you been?
There is a story to this. Yes, because my brother left his keys at home last night, and he's like, "Can you open the door for me?" But my brother works worse hours because he's a bartender, so he finishes work at like 2-3 a.m. so he gets home at like 4. Ooh. And so he's like, yeah, you just have to be awake at 4 to let me in. And I was like, okay, so I'm gonna stay up till 4 and let him in. And I fell asleep on my phone.
Oh no! Oh no!
So the poor alarm was going off for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Yo, you overslept. Yeah. Wow.
Oh my god. I was so
Sounds like it was for a good cause.
Yeah, I know. I was like, it was funny because I was actually in the city last night and I was like, oh, I can just give my keys to my brother. Like, I'll just drop it off at his job. And then I'm like, how am I going to get in my house? Like, there's just no way.
Didn't think that went through it, you know? Didn't think that went through it
Did
at all.
not think that.
You know, damn, like that's crazy because for me, normally when the alarm goes off, I'm up. Like I hear it, I'm ready to go. Very rarely do I have that moment where like an alarm triggers and I don't wake up. So you were sleeping.
Yeah,
I
that's
was-
deep sleep.
Yeah,
REM.
that was like, exactly. I was in REM. I don't know. Well, I'm fashionably late.
Well,
Yes.
hey, if you're fashionably late, that means you're on time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Exactly, as intended.
You know it.
And Celeste said, Howie, I know you had her tied up in your basement so you can lay your knowledge on acquisition science. I was like, okay. You know what? Yeah, we had Veronika locked up so I could talk about Microsoft buying Activision.
I didn't want to say it. But
She had to say it. Look, maybe that's what it was. But Veronika, welcome in. How are you feeling after your little sleep?
Yes.
oh my god, I feel great. I think today was payday too, so I'm
That's how we
I'm
do
good.
it. Getting paid, extra sleep, and we're also talking about Grand Theft Auto 6 this year
Yes.
because we're going through the recaps of the biggest headlines of the year,
Right,
and we'll ask you
right.
some of your opinions too about some of the other stuff we talked about. But I want to ask you, Veronika, because you just jumped in. What are your opinions on Grand Theft Auto 6, and what are you looking forward to the game or anything like that?
So I'm not like a big GTA fan. Like I think the games are cool. It's just like not the style of games that like I personally like. But I think this one's gonna be cool. It's been like 9 years since the last one.
Yeah, going on 10
At
next
least.
year.
Yeah.
10 next year. Yeah.
Exactly, and I'm like, they've been releasing this game on every console that's come out in those 9 years. Like, this better be good. Like, they have to have good stuff in this game, you know? Because the community is desperate. They keep buying the
Yes.
same game over and over and over again. Like, give them a good, give them a
starving.
good game. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And it's crazy to think because I didn't think I had my bingo card that GTA 6 would get leaked this year. That was not what I expected at all. And
I
not even
remember-
leaked. Gameplay leaked. Like what?
I remember when it happened. I'm pretty sure you like slacked me in the morning. Or like you hit me up on like at our job, and we were both freaking out because we're just like the entire like basically like one of the biggest games got leaked, and like gameplay got leaked. Like all these like important information of it just got like released into the wild, that people knew nothing about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because lately, I'm not a big fan of this, but like a lot of games get leaked like way before they start, you know, being in development or released or whatever. I think that culture has done a lot of damage to gaming, to be honest. But
Yeah.
that's a topic for another time. But what I was gonna say was this game wasn't even really like concretely rumored to be in development when the entire thing got leaked. So I was just shocked, you know what I mean? I thought that was really crazy. That was an insane day.
Yeah, every like couple of months it seems like you get those really insane video game stories or moments that come out, and definitely GTA 6 was one of the few this year. There's been quite a couple, but that was one of the biggest ones, if not the biggest of the year, when, you know, one of the biggest franchises of all time, the highest selling game of all time outside of Minecraft, gets leaked like that. That was absurd. And yeah, gameplay videos, plot details, and Rockstar were definitely pissed off about that. But
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I think that one of the biggest things, like you said, was that people see these leaks and they see the game and they were like, oh, this game looks like shit. And it's like, the game's nowhere near done. Like, what are we doing? And for a game that's nowhere near done, it looked pretty good. Better than other games. So
Level of
definitely.
detail's insane.
Definitely a big thing. And another thing I'll mention too, when we were talking about leaks, we were talking about The Last of Us a little bit earlier before you hopped in. And, you know, we were talking about Last of Us Part 3 being leaked or rumored. I wanted to get your thoughts about it since you're a fan of The Last of Us series.
I'm a fan. That's
Look
true.
at that.
That's true.
Look at that. Look at that tattoo.
Damn.
Tattoo.
maybe a little bit.
Maybe a little bit. Yeah, what gave you that impression?
I don't know. It might have been, just your smile when I said it. I don't know. Like,
yeah, I think this game is not needed. I don't know. Like, I feel like I can't, like, in my head think of really something worth telling, like a story I think worth telling if it's gonna be like, if it's gonna follow like spoilers, if it's gonna follow Dina and Ellie's child. Well, it's not like their child, but they raised it a little bit. Or like how it's gonna follow Ellie and like what message this one's gonna convey. Or like, I don't know, I feel like there should be like a clearer message that this game is gonna convey, and I don't like immediately see one or like where it could even go. So I'm kind of confused to be honest, but like I don't know, I feel confident that Neil Druckmann has something in mind just because he's great. I liked the second one a lot, despite what a bunch of people think. I did really, really enjoy the second one. Even with all the like things that they did, I thought that was a great story. I haven't like felt that way in a game in like a very long time. So I feel like maybe they've seen something that like they think they can, like a direction that they can go in. So I'm just gonna put my trust in them, even though I'm kind of like, why are we doing this? I feel like we had a really good ending, but I think I also felt the same with the first one. So I wasn't necessarily against part 2, but I was like, I feel like we ended on an okay note in the first one. Like, do we need this?
Yep.
I don't know. I might disagree about the first game. I don't know. I disagree because there was a lot still to talk about with the Fireflies and with Ellie not knowing the true nature of what had happened while she was at the hospital. I think it was like there was going to be some revenge coming. There was going to be some payback. So I definitely saw that coming. But I agree with you that the second game, I think, wrapped up really well. And I don't think we need a part 3. Now, it depends on the way they're going to go. If it's going to continue with the story with Ellie going on a rampage again or something like that, then that game wasn't needed. But if maybe it could involve Dina and Ellie / Jackson, that was his name, right? Their kid. So. Yeah, their kid. So maybe it could go on that story, or it could involve more of Abby. So I don't really know where they're going to go with it, but it's going to be very interesting to see how that's going to be with Neil Druckmann being back in the head of that. And like we said earlier, the Faction standalone free-to-play multiplayer games coming next year. That's been confirmed. Last of Us Part 3 should be coming. A Uncharted reboot might be happening at a different studio at Sony, and also a new IP is happening at Naughty Dog. So a lot of stuff for them to take on. A lot of things they're going to be working on for sure. They're going to be quite busy. Going back to some of the headlines from this year, as we talked about Rockstar, Elden Ring, Sony, and Microsoft, one more story we're going to talk about is the controversy around Bayonetta 3 voice acting.
Oh, Lord.
That was a trip and a half. I can't remember the original voice actor's name, but I do remember that Jennifer Hale, who has been one of the most iconic voices in gaming, including Commander Shepard in Mass Effect 3, she took over the voice of Bayonetta for Bayonetta 3, and however, the original voice actress said that she only got offered a very small amount of money to record for Bayonetta this time, and then it ended up turning out to not be fully true, so it went back and forth, and she kind of shot herself in the foot. So, yeah, I don't know if you guys know about the whole story, if you have any thoughts, but I want to open the floor to you guys to talk about it.
Yeah, I just want to throw in the voice actor. Her name is Helena Taylor.
There it is.
That's the original one. I didn't know it was Jennifer Hale that like replaced her. Is that who you said?
Yes, Jennifer Hale. Yes, she replaced Helena Taylor in the game. Yep, it was her.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
right?
She voices Ash in Overwatch. That's why I'm like,
No
what?
way.
Yeah, that's Ash. And
That's so
she's in Halo, no? She's in like
Jennifer, you know what? I'm gonna Google search that right now as we speak because I can't remember if
she's
she's been in Halo.
Yeah, I was kind of pulling it up too.
she's she does a lot, or is it I don't know. She's in like some other like big game.
She is in
She's
much.
Commander Shepard in Mass Effect.
That's how I
Samus in
know her.
Metroid Prime.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
Samus in Metroid. She was also Rivet in Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, the most recent Ratchet and Clank game. She's been in so many games. My goodness, she's been in Gears of War
Resume,
3.
Wow.
She's been in Star Wars: The Old Republic. She was to tell Sean. I should have known that. That's one of my favorite games. She was in
think of
Halo
Mass
4.
Effect that I
Yeah,
was
she was in
thinking of.
Halo 4. She was in Black Ops. She was in Elder Scrolls Online, Mortal Kombat, For Honor, Overwatch, Marvel's Avengers. She was Maria Hill
And now
in
she
the
has
Avengers game.
Bayonetta under her belt.
And
Jesus.
now Bayonetta. And to add on, and she was also in The Last of Us as a voiceover cast. I don't think they said officially what she was doing, but she was also in that. She was in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom. She was in SOCOM, Bulletstorm, Spider-Man, Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. She played Cinderella. So she's been literally everywhere.
Yeah.
Any game you can think of, she's been in it.
Yeah.
She
That's-
is
that's
the GOAT.
talent.
The GOAT of video game voice acting for sure. But yeah, going back to talking about Helena and Jennifer Hale's controversy. Yeah, what were your thoughts on that whole controversy in itself?
I think that was crazy because I remember when this happened, Helena was like, I only got paid $3,000 to voice Bayonetta, or like they only offered me like $3K. And everyone, of course, naturally, for such a big game, for such a like iconic character, they're like, what? This is crazy. There's no way. Bad Platinum Games don't do that. Like, no. And then it came out that that was the rate they were giving her, like hourly, which is like probably the highest that like a union like voice actor worker can get. Like like actually even higher than normal. Like that was just like over what they normally get. So again, it was like hourly or something. And they were like what are you talking about? So then it came out that she just kind of like, you know, stretched the truth a lot to make this seem bad and for people to boycott that game because she wasn't playing, she wasn't voicing Bayonetta. And everyone was just like shocked because that's such a big difference. Like being told that, oh, I got offered 3K versus like they were gonna offer me 3K per hour. Like,
that's absurd. Like,
that is absurd.
So much money. Like, are you joking? And I think there's something that came out too about she was donating to a charity that was kind of problematic. Also, I heard some things about that too.
Right.
Yeah. So it ended up that she opened her mouth and it kind of, you know, shot back at her. It didn't go the way that she thought it would go. But that was a really big headline too. That definitely took over gaming for a little bit of time. As those are probably the top 5 headlines of the year, but there are definitely a lot more to talk about because this year in gaming has been absolutely absurd. And also even on the game front too, some of the games that we've had this year have really been huge game changers for the market over, you know, the last couple of years, especially with COVID, really delaying a lot of games and changing a lot of the game's ideas and storylines. We definitely got some amazing games this year, and so we're going to transition to talk about some of our favorite single-player games and multiplayer games of the year. I want to open the floor to Alex if you have any of your top 3 single-player games of the year of 2022.
Sure. I'm gonna I don't have 3, but I will say my top 2, and that's going to Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
Yes.
And also Horizon Forbidden West. Those are the ones that have been in my realm, so I'm just automatically giving them the single player of the year for me.
Yeah, so you just started playing Breath of the Wild this year?
Yeah. I mean, I know it didn't come out right, but I like seriously started getting into that, so that's gonna be my default. I don't even have to speak about it. It's just go out and play it. Like, you need to experience this game. It's from the floor up. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best video games I've ever played, without question.
Yes.
Breath of the Wild is incredible, amazing. It's definitely my top Nintendo game that I've played ever, and it's exciting to see what's going to be Tears of the Kingdom next year. That's going to be very, very good. I am concerned that they are going to repeat Breath of the Wild, but also they really innovated Breath of the Wild, so more of that will always be good. So we'll have to see how that goes. Veronika, what are your top 3 single-player games of the year?
Definitely Pokemon Legends Arceus. I love that game. It was such a like breath of fresh air for like the Pokemon franchise, in my opinion. Somehow it released with better graphics and like less bugs than Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, so that's a plus. It was really fun. I put in like a lot of hours into it. So that's probably my number 1. I would say next to Stray. I don't care. Love that game. We need more games. We need more games like that. So I don't care. And then probably third, I would say God of War. I literally keep thinking back to the stream like that Durrell had on this channel when the game came out, and it looked like insane. Like, what a great game. I had a really good time watching that, and I watched my friend play it a little bit after, so it'll be my turn to play it soon, don't worry. But that was definitely coming up. But that was definitely another like amazing game I think that came out this year. Honorable mention to Elden Ring, but it had no place on my list.
Damn. You know what's crazy too? When I'll give a little context to the people here too. We just finished our voting for our TryHard Awards for this year, which you will see in probably about like 12 days, so like less than 2 weeks from now. You'll get all of that across all of our channels. So we just finished our voting. We had the whole team, so all of us. We had Darrell, London, I almost said Alex, but London, Agatha, and David. So we had like a bunch of people inside of our team here, and we voted on our games. We're not going to tell you what game, which one won one award, but you know, we'll definitely say that Darrell and Veronika were very much in the camp of God of War Ragnarok. That's all I'm going to say.
That is very clear.
That was very clear as day that a lot of us were definitely team Elden Ring, and they were definitely team God of War Ragnarok. But you will see all of that stuff across our socials the next couple of weeks. But at the same time, while God of War Ragnarok and Elden Ring have been kind of the top 2 games of the year, it's so refreshing to have a game or 2 games this year that are so divided with fans, that like they're both really excellent, incredible, well-crafted games that we can actually like debate about. Because last year, even though like for us we had Resident Evil Village be the game of the year, I think last year was like, man, there wasn't really a clear number 1 game. Like we
last
had
year
Returnal.
was kind of a sleeper.
It was. We had Returnal, we had Ratchet and Clank, we had Resident Evil. We had so many different types of games, but there wasn't a clear like, this is the one
standout.
So
yeah.
There wasn't a standout. 2020, you know, it could have been The Last of Us Part 2, Hades. There were so many different games that came out in 2020 that were like, wow, this is definitely the game of the year. So it was great to have that be a differential in the years past. So that was one of the big pluses. For me, for my top 3 single player games of the year, listen, Elden Ring is a genre-defining game for me. It is the game of the year for me. Even I haven't played God of War yet, and this could definitely change when I play it. But at the moment, Elden Ring is without question my game of the year. It hit every single thing I wanted out of that game. As somebody who, like I said earlier, who did not finish Souls games before, who's only played them in a limited capacity, taking the time to learn how to play the game and to figure out how I wanted my character to be was so satisfying. Because for me, typically, I like to get through games quickly. I like to just finish the story, then I'm done. I'm on to the next game. That's how I've always been. But I actually put 100 hours into Elden Ring, and I was like, wow. I started a new game. Plus, I love the game that much. So that's clear-cut game of the year for me. So that was number 1. Number 2, again, I haven't finished a lot of games this year, but I think at the moment it's probably Horizon Forbidden West. I haven't finished it, but I'm getting closer to finishing it. I love that game. The graphics for that is amazing. The sound design's amazing. The story is really engaging. They took a huge leap on the voice acting this year than they did from Zero Dawn. Like, it's night and day difference with the voice acting. And the game's actually on the screen right now, as you guys can see. But Forbidden West definitely it deserves some more props than it got this year. It sucks that it came out of the year of Elden Ring and God of War, because it deserved a lot more praise. But that's my number 2. And number 3 is probably going to be Bayonetta 3. Of the games that I've played this year. But God of War, once I play it, will probably be number 2. I don't know if it'll be number 1, but it'll definitely be up there. It might
unseat something.
It might unseat, but it's definitely a game. As Celise agrees with Darrell and Veronika about God of War being the game of the year, so says Darrell and Veronika are the GOATs.
Team
and
God
Jared,
of War.
Jared's also with you about Pokemon Legends Arceus or Arceus. I don't know how to pronounce that, but
you know what's funny? They said that Pokemon's name like both ways in the anime itself, so it doesn't even matter. They
doesn't
made
even matter. But that was an epitome, probably the best Pokemon game they have released in a very long time. And I think Scarlet and Violet would have been one of the best, but the tech issues really just messed that up.
Oh my god. Actually, it's funny. I just want to bring this up real quick. I saw a video last night of someone who found a shiny Pokemon, right? Like, if you don't know, shinies are just like Pokemon that are colored differently, and they're very rare to get. It's like 1 in 4,000 something chance, right? So really rare. But they made it a bit easier in this game to do things to like boost your odds. Anyway, they found this Pokemon, and the only reason that they found it is because they kind of glitched their camera to look out of bounds in the cave that they were in. And the Pokemon wasn't even in the cave. It was outside of the cave, so you wouldn't see it in the game. Like, it was literally only because they glitched their camera out and they were looking outside, like, you know, in like a place that they shouldn't, because they could see like I don't know, you know, they could see like the water, but they were like clearly in a cave. So I saw someone literally yesterday get a shiny Pokemon because it was glitched in the walls of a cave that like
out of the map.
Yeah, that you normally wouldn't see. And I'm like, wow, finished game.
Does that Pokemon appear often in the game itself, or is it kind of like a rarer Pokemon to get?
Okay, so like the Pokemon that he caught was like one that you normally get, but it was because it was shiny, that was rare. Like, it was a big deal that it was, you know, shiny. And like that's what people do when they finish Pokemon games usually. They'll shiny hunt for like, you know, Pokemon that they like, or just like maybe they want to complete, or they want to get every Pokemon shiny. So I think this is what that person was doing, and lo and behold, that fucking Pokemon was in a wall. Like not even visible. So
the chances, wow.
Yeah,
that is so absurd that's how they found a shiny, was by glitching through the game. And I know that Game Freak said that they're going to definitely work on the performance for the game, and that's, once they start working on it, is probably when I'll be more interested in playing it myself. But you know what could have been with Scarlet and Violet if they just had the game 6 more months of polish, when that game would have been one of the best Pokemon games of all time. So that sucks to see that it was that way, but the good part is that it is at least enjoyable, that people like the game for what it is, and it's not a pile of shit. Definitely. So that's one of the good parts about it.
It is very fun.
That is, I can't wait to play it myself. I've been watching Aryasaki play it a lot on her Twitch, and because she streams like 20 hours when she streams every time, and I'll wake up in the morning when I'm doing work and she's still playing. So I'll go to bed playing like Final Fantasy 14 and she's playing it, and I wake up and she's still playing it. I'm like, this is amazing. This is what I'm here for. 24-hour Twitch channel. This is what I need. Going on from the single player side of the year, we're going to talk about some of our favorite multiplayer games, and this can also include games that did not release this year, but you might have started playing this year too. And I know Alex has a couple of games multiplayer-wise he's been getting really into this year. But Alex, I'm going to open up the floor to you to talk about your favorite multiplayer games 2022.
Oh, for sure. So in my top 3, I'm going to put at Valorant, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and this one's maybe off the beaten path, but Phasmophobia. As Howie said, that wasn't released like this year or anything, but Valorant wasn't either, but kind of a mix of ongoing and just my personal favorites. Valorant, as a free game, like it's hard to turn down such a polished game from when it first was released. Like they've done so many improvements from the UI to just the choice of agents. I mean, they're always keeping new content releasing, so you always like have a reason to keep coming back even if you fall off or take a break. So I really enjoy that, the pace at which they release stuff in that game. And I was a CSGO fan, so automatically kind of influences that FPS world. Playing COD with you, Howie, this year for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, that kind of brought back like playing those kind of more realistic games, that not the cartoony side of FPS games. So that actually launched me, as a side note, into playing Battlefield 2042, which I just got recently, and I have certain thoughts about that because I know that was like, I mean, Battlefield games have been struggling in terms of their like launch presence. They've been notorious for not being ready, things being buggy. But yeah, aside from that, moving on to Faz, that was a game that just captured my attention too this year. Has great reviews, very like anywhere you look, people rave about it, and they just released a new update, Phasmophobia Tempest update or something. It's for the holidays, and it's really cool because you can like feed the ghost cookies, and then that's how you get it to initiate the hunt, and then it like jingles around as it's hunting.
That's awesome. So, what?
Yeah. Not to like give away too much, but like your objective is to get that done on all the maps, and then you complete the event. So I'm on track for that right now.
yeah. And I want to give a couple comments in the chat. As Sleaze was like, God Killer. I guess we were talking about Valorant and stuff like that.
Yes.
And Ben was like, well, things about being buggy on launch, as we were talking about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, looks at World of Warcraft, which I have not heard much about Dragonflight, but I did look up some user reviews on Metacritic yesterday, and it's got like a 4.5 rating from users. So, is it good? Is it bad? I need you to talk about it in the chat, because I'm very curious about that. Definitely want to know. And going back to Alex's game list for the year, I think that once we started playing Phasmo for TryHard Plays, I think that's what really got Alex the bug to get on and play a little bit of Phasmo, which is a great game. It's amazing. I've been playing it also with some friends every now and then as well. And it's just a simple, easy game to get into, and it's just learning, the ins and outs of how to ghost hunt properly, when to get the signals of the ghosts and stuff like that. So once you start having those simple games, and example of this is Among Us, once you have games that are just easy for people to get into, those games are going to do well. When they're so convoluted and complicated, that's when people are going to start tuning out. So shout out to Phasmophobia, and also shout out to Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 for being a big success this year as well. And of course Valorant for keeping on with their ongoing updates as well. Veronika, let's talk about some of your favorite multiplayer games of this year. It could be, again, games that came out or games that you started playing this year that are multiplayer based.
Okay, so probably the first one that like I didn't really expect myself to play would be Fortnite. Definitely really enjoyed the zero build mode where you do not build, because that was the one thing that I was like, dude, I will never pick up this game, like there's just no way. But like once they took that out, or like gave a mode where you don't have to build, I was playing that a lot, and like I ended up spending money on the game because I was having so much fun. I completed the battle pass when I started, so that was like 2 seasons ago because I didn't play last season, and so I played the season before that. So loved it, and I kind of got back into it now actually because of our stream also. I was playing and I'm like, wow, you know what, this is kind of fun. So yeah, I'm gonna say Fortnite for the first one. And then honestly, even though like I have so many criticisms about this game, Overwatch 2, I don't think it's even that good. Like honestly, like they're still doing things that I'm like, I don't know
what are we doing
is on. Like literally, I don't know what the dev team is doing there. However, it's been nice to like have like I guess a reason to play the game again, or to like feel like I want to play Overwatch, because like I don't think I played much at all before Overwatch 2 came out. This also made me want to like start watching Overwatch League again. It brought my interest in the game back like to almost what it used to be. So I'm gonna give it to Overwatch 2. That doesn't mean I think it's a really good game though. Just disclaimer.
I hate this game, but I played 100 hours of it.
Yeah. Yeah, someone just said that. Never thought I'd say it about Fortnite, but no build is the only way right now. That's how I feel. I'm like, why would anyone play like a mode where you have to build when you could just do no build mode? Like, I don't know. Personally, to me, I think it's just like the best, but whatever. I know that they still do competitive games with the building, and I'm like, okay, have fun with that.
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good. And then the next one, even though I didn't play that much of it this year, I don't think, Apex, I still really like that game. I think they've been doing a lot of really cool things, at least with like the game story and like how they keep like progressing the like whatever plot like they're building. I think that's been pretty cool. They've always been like on point. I know this isn't multiplayer like things, but they've been on point with like the character reveals and the like story like videos that they do. So I think that's been like really great. And I still have an interest in it, even if I'm not like really playing it. I'm still kind of like keeping up with like what's going on. So yeah, that's my top 3, I think.
Yeah, good top 3, especially talking about Fortnite. I think that Fortnite has been, one of, and I'll talk about it when I get to my list, but it's definitely been one of my favorite multiplayer games to play this year, which I did not think would be the case. As somebody who didn't play, I briefly played Fortnite when it first came out, and I, briefly played it over the years. This past season was the first time I finished the battle pass, and I like wanted to finish it. I remember I was like, okay, I can get on and play Fortnite. I need to get the Gwen skin. I need to get on and play. And that's like very rare for me to do for a lot of battle royale games like that too. So the no build mode, I think, really changed the game completely. I think it brought so many new players, as well as brought back older original Fortnite players into the game to have fun and play. And including that too is also with the custom games people are making. I've been playing a lot of the custom zombie horde experiences that they have on Fortnite, so that's an easy way to level up too, and I've been having a lot of fun playing those. It kind of gives my like Call of Duty Zombies itch a little bit, so it's been really fun to play that too. So Fortnite definitely has been a huge change this year. And also Overwatch 2, I think Overwatch 2 has been a lot of fun, but definitely there are issues there. And Apex Legends still continue on to be one of the best BR games on the market. Definitely those 3 games worthy of your top 3. And going on from y'all's top 3, I'll go ahead and give mine. I guess this game, it's multiplayer, but I don't play it as multiplayer a lot, but I'll throw it in here anyway. But it's the game that I've been playing a lot of recently, which is Final Fantasy XIV Online. I have gotten back on that game. I really wanted to get a house in the game, in the apartment, so I've been grinding the last couple of days, and I was like, you know what? The housing system in Final Fantasy XIV is dog shit, so I just went and got an apartment because, wow, they need to fix that. Yeah, they have this whole thing where they have a lottery system to buy a plot of land, and it's like you have to be on in a certain window to get the plot, and it's a random generated thing. And also they have this system where if you don't sign on for 45 days, your house gets destroyed. And they didn't use that system at all this year, so people have just been having their house over the past year and not playing the game. Yeah, it's absurd. They need to fix their housing system, but that's why I went and got an apartment instead, because that was too much work. But I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy XIV Online. I think that they have really made one of the best, I think personally, the best MMO on the market. Even though I know that Ben's gonna be talking about World of Warcraft Dragonflight, and I saw your comment saying that you've been enjoying it and loving the traverse around the world, which is great. And I'm glad that World of Warcraft is kind of getting back on track after a lot of people didn't like Shadowlands, and seeing that it's really elevating back to its normal formula. But I think that Final Fantasy 14 is the best MMO in the market right now. Little biased. My bad. Going on for Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite I think is probably number 2 for me. As I just talked about, Fortnite's really transcended this year, and it's been great to experience all the new stuff in the game, and they kept a big consistency in content, and also with the new season being just like a huge change for the game, also keeping it fresh and updated as well. Shout Epic Games for that. And my number 3 game is probably Modern Warfare 2. I've been really enjoying playing Modern Warfare 2. It was the first time, I think, since Modern Warfare 2019, or maybe even like a long time before that, that I've actually got to the max rank in multiplayer. I've been really enjoying it. It's been really fun, and I'm excited to see what they do next with Modern Warfare and Warzone 2.0. So that's the top 3 multiplayer games for all of us. So definitely let us know what you guys think in the chat. Almost said the comments like a YouTube video, but in the chat. So let us know. Let us know what you think.
Can I mention something real quick? I just saw this. I don't know if you saw this. Did you see Henry Cavill is going to star in and be a producer for that Warhammer thing?
It happened literally last night. It went from a rumor to being confirmed today. Like, what?
I just saw it on my phone while we were talking, and I'm like, no way. And then I looked up a report, and I was like, oh my god, good for him. Anyway.
Listen, Henry Cavill deserves it after all the BS he's been through over the last month.
Yeah.
Leaving The Witcher, coming back to play Superman, just to be told that you're not coming back, actually. So, he deserves it, and I hope that rumor about him playing Commander Shepard in a Mass Effect show or movie happens, because I need that immediately, like yesterday. So please make it happen.
This also isn't really gaming news, but it is about Pokemon. They just confirmed Ash isn't coming back next season.
I just saw that.
Wow.
I just saw that. Whoa. Like, what?
What? Yeah.
That is absurd. But like, I guess it's time, because it's been what, 25 years, 30 years with Ash?
I'm like wow,
25
yeah.
years.
So it's time. It was time for them to try to focus on a new character. But damn, that sucks.
That is big news.
Man. All right, that was a little news break. Back to our regularly scheduled programming.
We'll be talking more about some of the adaptations too for gaming as well, because we're going to move on to talking about our biggest disappointments for 2022. I don't think we have like a list, but if there's any games you guys can think of this year that came out and you were like, oh bro, this ain't it, or anything like that. Alex, actually we talked about it a little bit in the pre-show, and I want you to talk about your pick for disappointment for this year.
Yes, for sure. So I'm gonna kick it off with actually something I haven't talked about in the past too much, which is Rainbow Six Siege. And that's a game that I used to play a lot, especially pre-pandemic or more so then. And that was the game I really played a lot before I switched over to Valorant full-time, as I like to say. But they just released something called Extraction, and I was reading that was a different spin on basically teaming up together to fight like alien and AI. And that spin-off kind of didn't catch too much traction, or wasn't well received by the fan base. So from what I saw, it either was mixed or kind of was a flop. But yeah, I just like keep thinking about how I love Siege, fell off of it, and now I just don't hear much from the much buzz around that game anymore. So that kind of is a disappointment.
I was interested in that game. I was actually kind of excited for it to come out, and then I heard that it wasn't it.
Yeah.
Which was really disappointing. You're right.
Yeah. And then I would say and you can speak to more of this, Veronika, probably, but Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I'm just putting it up there because of all the memes that came out and how viral it went for being so glitchy, which was just entertaining in itself to see. But I can't speak to the actual gameplay, which might have been fine aside from that stuff. But what are your thoughts?
I know, I definitely agree with you. That is probably that it like if I'm to give my list later, that's probably on my list too.
Yeah.
I think the gameplay like itself, it works as intended, right? Because it's like you just pick what move you're gonna do, and then the other Pokemon does it. But sometimes, like the consequences of where the battle starts, will either mess you up. Like sometimes you might start a battle because a Pokemon like attacks you from one side, and so usually your trainer like jumps back. So sometimes you will be you might have jumped back out of bounds, and then only when the battle's done does your character like then like adhere to like gravity, right? Because you might be like out of bounds, so then you'll fall off the cliff or something.
No.
Which is like, okay, like why?
Sloppy.
Yeah, it's like kind of sloppy. But yeah, there was a lot of glitches in that game. Like a lot of bugs.
Yeah, so that's my main list for disappointments.
Yeah.
But luckily not too big either, so.
Yeah, absolutely. That's absurd. And Celise also wants to throw in that Warzone 2 being a disappointment this year, which I've heard people say has been kind of mid. I've only played a few games, so I can't say myself, but definitely a game that has it should have been better than what people have been people have been saying. So yeah, hopefully they'll get that turned around and that'll be fixed with time. But Veronika, we'll go ahead and let you continue on talking about some of your disappointments for the year.
Okay, yeah, so definitely Pokemon. That being said, I will say, disclaimer, great game, really fun story. And I'm still having a good time. I haven't experienced like the really bad glitches that people have, but my game has crashed once. And for some people I know, their game has crashed like several times, which yikes. They could have used the extra time. They could have used the extra year, like polishing the game. I don't really know why they decided that they want to like put out 2 Pokemon games this year, because Legends did come out this year too. These 2 were in development at the same time. Like they were kind of doing a lot of elements together, I think. But somehow this game came out way worse than Legends, which I don't really understand. But anyway, hopefully they learn from this, because this was really bad. So Pokemon, I think next would probably be Gotham Knights.
I forgot about that game.
That's how bad it was. I was watching my friends play, and like gameplay looked fun, but like the multiplayer did not look as good. Also personally still really mad at what they did to Jason Todd. He looks ugly. Like he looks so bad. I'm kind of just mad about it still. So that's number 2. And then the third one, I can't really think of something else that like disappointed me, but I want to say the Battlefield game, which came out this year. Am I wrong in that?
It came out like November, but like we can include it because they have still not done
skirting,
much.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, like I know that like absolutely like no one played that game after launch, and seeing how bad it was. Like, yeah, like I remember seeing like all that stuff about it, and I was just like, oof, this is bad. Then I think it went free to play. Am I right? Or
they talked about it, but it's like dirt cheap. Like I just bought it for like $7 for the gold edition like a week ago. So.
It came out like it came out recently. Yeah. Like a year ago.
Free through Battle Pass, but I guess I'm still paying. But yeah, it's or not Battle Pass.
Game Pass.
Yeah.
You're paying emotionally for it, Alex.
Right. Yes.
You're like, damn, I get on this game and play this game. Like, you know what? Let me just talk about DICE really quick because and EA, because I don't understand how they have fumbled the bag so hard with their last like 3 to 4 games. Battlefront 2, one of my favorite games, multiplayer wise, fumbled it from the jump. And then once it got good, they canceled it. Shout out EA for that. Battlefield 5, Battlefield 5 didn't really like love it, but that also got fumbled from the jump. And then you fumbled Battlefield 2042. Like, how do you fumble so many times in a row with multiplayer games? Well, you are the Battlefield studio. You are the epitome of large-scale first-person shooter games. How do you do it 3 games in a row. I don't understand.
Kind of impressive.
It's kind of impressive.
They know so many eyes are on that. It's
like Battlefield is the Call of Duty counterpart. You have to get your stuff right, and especially because Call of Duty, Vanguard, and Cold War were kind of and they had so many opportunities to take over and fumbled. Like, how do you fumble that? Just enough about Battlefield. But yes, definitely those disappointments make sense. And when you said Gotham Knights, I completely forgot about that game when you said it. I was like, that came out this year? Like, what?
That's how disappointing.
It sure did come out this year, and like no one cared.
Yeah, nobody cared. Just crickets. And even though Sleaze is giving some shout out to Call of Duty Cold War, so that's good to hear that you enjoyed it though during the COVID outbreak. For me, probably my disappointing games. I don't think I've played 2 of these games, but the first one I'll say that I have played, and it did come out last year, but I will keep it since the ongoing game for this year. But Halo Infinite has been such a disappointment, even though Forge mode just came out. But again, it just came out. It should have been with the game at launch, and that they canceled local campaign co-op, so that's not coming out. And just Halo Infinite is such a disappointment. I don't even want to get on the game to play Forge. Like, I'm just like so far removed from the game now. Like, I'm like, I don't really care about it. So that's been a bit of disappointment for me. My second game that I haven't played but I really wanted to play was Callisto Protocol. I've heard that game has a lot of issues, and it's very sad to see, as somebody who has not played Dead Space but really wants to get into the franchise. I expected more from that game, and that was just unfortunately not it. And number 3 is probably going to be Babylon's Fall, if y'all remember that game from Platinum. And that was the Platinum co-op ongoing live service game that absolutely bombed. Might have been the worst reviews for a live service game that I've seen in a while, and the game's already been shut down. It hasn't even been a year yet. It's been shut down. Like, bro, how do you fumble that bad? So, Babylon's Fall, a huge disappointment this year.
Oh, wow. I didn't know it got shut down.
Yeah,
it came out, I think, in like February, and yeah, it got shut down already, or at least they confirmed that it's going to be shut down next couple of months. So yeah, didn't even last a year. They only did I think a season or 2, and it's gone.
Who did Anthem? Because that was another game that obviously years ago.
Oh,
but that was
BioWare and EA. Lo and behold, EA.
I see. I'm writing this down. Yeah.
They lucky Respawn has been making bangers, or they would be in trouble. That's for sure.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so those are disappointments from all of us. But while there have been some disappointments this year, 2023 is looking to be a very stellar, amazing, fantastic, incredible year. Just all of the words to throw out there for 2023. There are so many games that are going to really change what's going to be like a AAA experience. And I want to talk to you guys about some of the games looking forward to. Alex, we'll let you start. What are some of your games looking forward to the most for next year?
All right, so my eyes, and again, I'm trying to finish Forbidden West, but my plan is to knock that out, and then maybe play the Burning Shores DLC, which would be fun. And then I think it's Call of the Mountain. Is that what it's called? The sequel that's gonna be
that's the VR sequel. Yep,
the
that's
VR
it.
sequel. Yeah, so that's like, I don't know. I'm really excited just to see how people receive that and what the buzz around that is. So that'll be my eyes for next year. At least from the get-go, yeah. Yeah,
absolutely. I'm very excited to see where they take Horizon next. I actually think today there was something that was sharing on Twitter that Guerrilla is hiring for the next Horizon game, if I'm not mistaken. So they're already working on Horizon Part 3, because it is going to be a trilogy. And Guerrilla has also been working on a multiplayer game as well. We don't know what the multiplayer game is going to be, but they hired the devs that started Rainbow Six Siege. So they have the original Siege developers. So it could be a new Killzone. It could be a brand new IP. It could be Horizon multiplayer. We don't know. So Guerrilla, they got a lot of stuff up their sleeve, so that's going to be awesome to see what they do next year with Call of the Mountain and with the Burning Shores DLC. Veronika, what's going to be on your list for next year?
Okay, so definitely Hades 2. I don't think it's coming out next year. I don't think
they said
confirmed
early
it.
access information's coming out next year, so it could be early access next year, but we have no idea. But continue.
I'm kind of assuming it might be like second half of the year, right? So we'll see. Definitely Hades 2. I'm like excited that like we're getting more games that aren't just like I mean, it is a single player game, but not, like your typical like God of War, like Elden Ring. It's like a roguelike, which I like a lot. Love that genre. That game, Suicide Squad, cannot wait for that. We have a release date, right? Like
it's May 26th, so it is
okay.
2 weeks after The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. 2 weeks after, right?
Who do these people think we are? Okay, so like those 3 games, and I think probably I think Final Fantasy is coming out next year. I'm a big Final Fantasy fan, so probably will be very excited for that. But I will say I'm excited for Legend of Zelda. I haven't beat Breath of the Wild though, but
what? What? You need to beat that game. So good.
I know.
But I know another game to add to your ever-going, backlog of games to play.
Yeah.
Definitely, if you make some time next year, play Breath of the Wild. And if you guys haven't already, also play Breath of the Wild. As Celise says, there's a new Suicide Squad game coming out. Yes, it's coming out from Rocksteady, who were the original creators of the Batman Arkham series. So they will be doing the Suicide Squad game, and it will be them killing the Justice League. Or I think it's like they have to kill or capture them or something like that. So
the Justice League got like kind of brainwashed or something like that. So now they're evil. But this will also be Kevin Conroy's like last performance. The like original voice actor for Batman. They announced at the Game Awards this is his like that he was casted in this, and they showed off a trailer featuring Batman, and you heard his voice, and everyone's immediately like, oh wait, that's Kevin. And he died this year, in case anyone doesn't know that. So this was his like final, I think, performance as Batman, which is really cool. So I think that's also just like another reason why this game's probably gonna do well, because people are gonna see that and be like, we have to like experience that. We have to, So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be great to see that, and it's like there's so many games this year that like Suicide Squad's not in my top 3, but it's definitely a game I'm so looking forward to playing. It's incredible how many games are coming out this year. For me, I think my top 3 is going to look like this. 2 of those are going to be reserved for Final Fantasy, starting with Final Fantasy 16, and that trailer they showed at the Game Awards was fucking bananas. Like, I went back and watched it. I was like, this trailer is insane. Like, there's so much stuff going on. So I'm very, very pumped as somebody who is a new Final Fantasy fan. My first Final Fantasy game technically was 14. And then Final Fantasy VII Remake, when I played it last year, or maybe it was 2020, I can't remember. When I played it, that was like, okay, I'm all in on Final Fantasy and playing through that. And I've been playing through 10, and I'm looking forward to playing more. Yeah, I know. I want to play 15. I want to play 12. I want to play all of the Final Fantasy games. Like, I'm so in it now. Like, I want to play all of them. So I'm so excited to see what 16 is going to be like. And the game that just came on the screen right now for you guys is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is the sequel to the remake, which they said is this winter. Doesn't mean if it's coming out 2023 or early 2024, but if it is 2023, I am very, very pumped for this game. I love the remake so much. I want to play. Actually, I started playing through it again on PC, and I just love the characters, love the world. Shout out to Tifa, that's my main. And just love the Final Fantasy games so much. And probably my third game that I'm excited for. Oh, this is tough, but I think it will be Legend of Zelda. I think Legend of Zelda is going to definitely be the game that's number 3 on my list. But there's so many games coming out next year: Armored Core, Tekken, Street Fighter, Hogwarts Legacy, Dead Space. So many games coming out next year that are going to be incredible. But those are probably my top 3 of the year. So there's a lot to look forward to for next year, and I don't even know when we're going to have the time or the energy to play all of these games, but it's just going to be crazy. Celeste says Final Fantasy looks awesome. I'm gonna use it for wallpapers. That's it. You're not gonna play the game?
That's messed up.
Come on, bro. You're like, damn, that's cool. Anyways, that's what you just basically said. How dare you? Oh, Starfield. Starfield's another game. Oh, and fuck, we forgot Star Wars Jedi Survivor. That's coming out
my God.
in March. That's coming out in March, and that looks amazing too. So, oh man, he's like, it's a little eye candy. I can't. Sorry. You know what? We'll let it slide just this time. But damn, actually,
not next stream though. Watch your mouth.
Not next stream, just this time.
These specs are out.
Next stream, 2023, new energy. You know what? Damn, Survivor might be number 3 instead of Legend of Zelda. I don't know. It's tough. It's really tough because we haven't seen enough of Legend of Zelda yet for me to get super hyped about it. And
I forgot about Diablo 4. I've been waiting for that actually. And
Diablo
Street Fighter
4
is coming out. Aren't you excited for Street Fighter?
I'm so pumped for Street Fighter and Tekken
yes.
and all of these games. There's so many. And you know what's crazy? In a 40-day window, this is the releases for May to June. It's going to be The Legend of Zelda on May 12th. The Suicide Squad game on May 26th. Street Fighter is June 2nd. Diablo 4 is June 6th. And Final Fantasy 16 is June 22nd. This is all in the span of 40 days. So on average, we're getting a AAA Game of the Year potential game a week on average. So that is crazy.
So what I'm hearing is we have to take those days off.
Yeah.
Right. We have to take those months off, from February to May or whatever you just said, to play all these games.
So if you don't see us on TryHard's Certified, there's a reason why. Either we're going to be playing them on stream or playing them off stream. So
that's true.
You only get one or the other. But that's going to kind of wrap up our 2022 recap looking to 2023. So before we sign off, this is again our last stream of the year for TryHard's Certified. So we want to appreciate you guys so much that have been with us over the last couple of weeks, and thank you everybody that's tuned in today. We've had such a great time bringing this channel to life, and we're looking forward to next year to bring you even more content, even more streams, even more games. So definitely make sure, if you haven't already, to hit the follow button. Make sure your turn notifications on so you know every time we go live. We're going to be back in January, probably the 2nd or 3rd week of January, and we have a lot of things we're going to be bringing brand new to the channel next year. And we need channel points. Yes, we do. That is the plan. We're waiting to get the affiliate stuff figured out, and then we will have all that stuff ready to go for you guys. But definitely look out for the sub badges and the subscriptions and the emotes and all that stuff coming in 2023. So, Alex, first off of you, is there anything you want to say for your final sign off of 2022?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you guys. Thanks everyone just for the support, for showing up every single time we're going live. It's been again another great year for gaming, and ahead, like Howie said, there's just so much coming down the pipeline that to get excited about. I think I just want to wish everyone happy holidays and new year, if we don't really talk before then. But yeah, let us know continually, you know, what you're playing, what you're keeping your eyes on, because we're always looking to, you know, change things up, bring new shows, bring new ideas for you guys to stay entertained and stay on top of all the latest. So yeah, see you in 2023.
Absolutely. Veronika, what do you have to say to the people as we end the stream?
Yeah, thanks for the support. It's been very fun. Super excited for like next year too. We have like a lot of ideas and a lot of games we want to play too. So it's gonna be a good time. And yeah, thank you for like hanging out with us and keeping us company, because you know it's nice to have like a community and all that stuff. So yeah. Happy holidays, have fun guys, and stay safe.
Absolutely. Celeste, I know you're going to be in the same time zone as us next year, because you're still in India, correct? He's all the way in India, so he's a loyal fan that's been with us since Next Level. So shout out to Celeste, the legend, and he'll be coming over to the Americas next year. So it's going to be great to have you on this side of the country, and you're going to be in the same time zone as us, so you're going to be even involved in more. You're moving in 3 days. Whoa, that's crazy.
Safe travels. Jeez.
Oh, safe travels.
Oh my gosh,
Wow.
good luck. That must be that is a move.
That is a huge move. Yeah, because he's talked about to me that he's going to be doing it soon. So it's going to be great to have you. Happy holidays, everybody, across wherever you're watching us from. Again, we're going to be back next year with even more games, even more stuff to do, more things to talk about. And make sure you follow TryHard across all of our platforms. We are, again, on Twitch, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, Discord. Follow us across all of the platforms. We have a lot more content that we're going to be posting across TikTok, YouTube, and Shorts over the next couple of weeks. So make sure you tune into those channels because we're talking about our TryHard Awards for the year, talking about games looking forward to for next year, and even more content outside of that. So thank you guys so much for watching and all the support this year, and looking forward to having more stuff for you next year. Take care. We're going to be rating into somebody who's playing Final Fantasy XIV right now, so don't go anywhere just yet. We're going to be rating into a streamer right after this, and we will be seeing you guys in 2024.